Yo, this is Iyob 1 or Job 1. Someone convinced me to take it down because I used the words. I used something that they didn't like. Said that they were a linguist and I was saying it wrong. And I've had 3 confirmations now. And so I'm redoing it back the original way. I changed it for these people that said I was saying it wrong. They've been a linguistic for 52 years, and I respected them. But the Spirit of God did not like the way they wanted it to be said. And so I'm turning it back. Okay, here we go. So what you did watch is now going to disappear. And this is going to be in its place. So sorry guys that already watched Job 1. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Iyob, and that man was perfect and straight, and one who revered Elohim and turned aside from evil. And 7 sons and 3 daughters were born to him. And his possessions were 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, and 5,000 yoke of oxen, and 500 female donkeys, and a very large body of servants, so that this man was the greatest of all the people of the east. And his sons went and had a feast in the house of each on his day, and sent and invited their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. And it came to be when the day of feasting had gone round that Iyob would send and Kadosh, which means bless, them, and he would rise early in the morning and offer burnt offerings, the number of them all. For Iyob said, it might be that my sons have sinned and cursed Elohim in their hearts. This Iyob always did. And the day came to be that the sons of Elohim came to present themselves before Yahweh, and Satan also came among them. And Yahweh said to Satan, from where do you come? And Satan answered Yahweh and said, answered Yahweh and said, from diligently searching in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And so that means he goes up into the heavens, or in the Shemayim, and back down onto earth, back up and down in it. So he walks like Enoch walked, right? And Yahweh said to Satan, have you considered my servant Iyob, that there is none like him on the earth, a perfect and straight man, one who reveres Elohim and turns aside from evil? And Satan answered Yahweh and said, Is Iyob revering Elohim for naught? Have you not made an hedge around him, and around his household, and around all that he has on every side? You have Barak the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased in the land. But stretch out your hand, please, and strike all that he has, if he would not curse you to your face. And Yahweh said to Satan, See, all that he has is in your hand. Only do not lay a hand on himself. And Satan went out from the presence of Yahweh. And the day came to be when his sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in the house of the brother, the firstborn. And the messengers came to Iyob and said, The oxen were plowing and the donkeys feeding alongside them. Okay, and if you want to take a picture, there you go. The Hebrew Living Letters. I'll give you the number 2. When Sheba fell upon them and took them away, and they smote the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to inform you. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, The fire of Elohim fell from the Shemaim and burned up the sheep and the servants and consumed them, and I alone have escaped to inform you. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, The Kezites formed 3 bands and made a raid on the camels and took them away. And they smote the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to inform you. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, Your sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in the house of their brother, the firstborn. And see, a great wind came from the wilderness and struck the four corners of the house, and it fell on the young men. And they are dead, and I alone have escaped to inform you. Then Iyob rose up and tore his robe and shaved his head, and he fell to the ground and did obeisance, like bowed down, right? Obeisance. And he said, Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I return there. Yahweh has given, and Yahweh has taken away. Baruch be the name of Yahweh. In all this, Iyob did not sin, nor ascribe wickedness unto Elohim. Okay, so that's very important, that he admitted that God allowed it, but he did not ascribe wickedness. He did not say that God was the giver of evil gifts. And I don't understand quite how you separate all that, but I do know it's important. And that you know that God allowed it, but that you don't ascribe him as giving bad gifts. And all of it works out, like the verse says, that everything is for our good. Even the bad comes out to be for our good. So obviously that means that his children were saved, and that his body was not saved in the next chapter, but that his life was, and that he was better for it, and God made him more rich than he was beforehand, and the end of this book. So this book has, I think, two meanings. One, to not ascribe wickedness to God, and second of all, to answer correctly when you have prophesied or said that a thing is a one way when it's not. And many prophets have not read Job because they're prophesying amiss. And what they need to do is read Job 42, verse 2 and 3, and pray that prayer quickly, so that they do not get humbled. They will live, and it will be as nothing. They will be delivered. God, they're still in God's hands. Nothing will be lost of great importance, but pride itself, right? But people need to realize that this is the time of Job's trouble right now. I believe that it's coming upon us right now. God bless you.